Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Nathanius coming at you with a PVZ on Atlantis spaceship. Our players for this game will be TSL's Hyun, spawning as the red Zerg in the top position, and MVP Finale, spawning as the blue Protoss in the bottom position. This game is brought to you by the wonderful folks over at IPL for their caster search competition. Hopefully you guys enjoy this game, and hopefully we have a really interesting, awesome game here to look at. Atlantis Spaceship is one of the bigger maps we've seen recently. Not used in GSL anymore. Haven't really been seeing it in many tournaments, other than I suppose this game. I believe this is from the Fight Club, but neither player are going to do anything too crazy to open this up. Extractor trick from Hyun. And it looks like we're going to have a Forge Fast expand, Nexus first, possibly, coming out of Finale. Now, on this map, typically I would say that this is a Zerg favored map, generally due to the large size. You have these areas where you can park Overlords to get vision of when your opponent expands and when they take their gas, etc., etc. However, for Protoss, I don't think the map distance is too big a deal, assuming that if you're going for some kind of proxy play, you get a probe out early enough that the map distance doesn't really matter when you're warping units across the field. But for the start, it does look like Finale will be going for a Nexus first. He saved up a lot of minerals, and the probe's going to be heading over to the natural, and that's exactly what it's going to be. Meanwhile, we have a pull down for Hyun. Not looking to do anything terribly crazy. He doesn't want to try to risk a 15 hatch in the event that a probe comes up for a cannon rush, or that we get really kind of any pylon block. So he just wants to be able to make sure that he can expand when he wants to. And this is actually going to give a nice little economic advantage to Finale. He's going to get his Forge after his Nexus, scout around. There's no really early aggression coming, and with the large map size, these sixlings shouldn't be able to do too much to Finale. It has to go very long distance to get there, and as I said, this Overlord will be able to check the wall, check the expansion timing, and park itself here, or any of these areas behind the main area. Pylon in the main, the sixlings are on the way, and Hyun's going to be taking his natural expansion. No gas just yet. Starting that queen production. Looks like that Overlord. Oh, extractor trick to get the queen out. Looks like I kind of forgot the Overlord, but the double extractor trick is a really nice way to get that queen out. Get that larva production going, as well as eventual creep spread. A couple more lings actually. So he sees that it's basically a Nexus first. The cannon is about halfway done, and we do have 6 Zerglings about to enter the main, and Finale's going to try to block this off at the gateway, and this will be a complete wall. So he throws on the second gate. The Nexus is complete, and it looks like Finale wants to take his gas now. So this is a nice, clever little trick. He's going to get in here. The Photon Cannon will finish. He's going to pull some probes. Just basically wants to make sure that the Zerglings stay very close to that cannon. If the cannon falls, this could be very disastrous. He's going to have to chase these Zerglings around with his probes. Doesn't want to let any other lings get into the base. Now we have a Zealot on the way from the completed gateway. Another Photon Cannon is being built, but the Zlings are in the base, and this is actually going to be a really big problem for Finale. He has to dance these probes around, losing mining time, losing probes, and in the meantime, looks like Hyun's just going to take his third base. His natural is complete. He's getting up his queens and just droning now in a very, very safe, comfortable position to get economically ahead. And the cannon will be finishing, and the Zealot is complete, but until there is a Cybernetics core and a Stalker, these lings can kite for days. So we do have one gas in the natural for Finale about to finish, but there's no Cybernetics core yet started. There's absolutely no gas until right now, and he can't even do anything with the gas because, as I said, there's no Cybernetics core, so these lings are just going to be a pain, just be a thorn in Finale's side. Now, he does have a pylon at the third base of Hyun, so he may cannon rush this, which would be, somewhat of a decent way. As long as he doesn't over-invest into this between working at this neutral supply depot, as long as he doesn't over-invest into a cannon rush, I think this could be actually a really smart move. Just try to keep things even between him. Now the Cybernetics core is about halfway done, but as I said, these Zerglings are being quite a nuisance. He's managed to kill 3 probes so far this game, and it looks like he's gonna get a 4th, and 1 ling will go down, but as I said, this Zealot can't really chase these around, and he also gets full scouting information. Now second gas the natural finish. This Overlord can hide in that high ground area, as I stated before, and Warp Gate will begin. And we will need to see a Stalker come out for Finale to finally get rid of these Zerglings that have been paining him for so long. I'm only curious to see if he's going to be delaying this, or how long he'll delay getting a Stalker out. You can do this with a sentry, but the Zerglings cannot run the sentry. They can maneuver and just make life difficult for the most part. Now, double gas at Hyun's natural has completed. The cannon rush has been, well, nothing, didn't really commit, didn't really actually go for it. So we're actually going to get a sentry before Stalker out of Finale. He just wants to make sure that in case anything else tries to roll in, any kind of big, fast Baneling or Roach play comes in. And that's honestly not even going to be a concern. He has the gas at the natural. He's going to be going for the fast lair, actually, even before his Zergling speed. So it looks like he may be going for a big mid-game play, possibly large amounts of Mutalisks or large amounts of Roaches. So Finale's just trying to keep up pace. He's down about 10 workers, but he's on 2 bases. He's got his robotics facility about halfway done. So I mean, he's in an okay spot, but he's still a little bit behind from that earlier harass. And as I said, we do have the Roach Horn coming down. The lair will finish soon, and we also have a single evolution chamber. So he's not going to be investing heavily into upgrades, or at least early on in the game. As well taking the gas at the third base. Still no gas at the main, which I find interesting. Trying to maybe think in case there's some sort of later attack, there'd be gas banked up at the main to mine later on when the expansions run dry. We're going to have Roach speed as well as +1 attack, and we also have a Twilight Council coming in as well as a few more gateways for Finale. He's going to be getting out his Observer first to scout. Doesn't look like it's going to be any kind of really fast Immortal play. Not going to be anything along the lines of an Immortal all-in, it looks like. So it's still with the +1 attack going. We do have an Immortal in the way. We will have Blink, actually, which I think is not a bad move. This map is rather large, but there are a good amount of areas where you can jump up and down, you can jump across, and I think it makes it easier for harassing some bases across certain spaces. And from Finale, I think this is actually pretty solid. It's a pretty solid move. Protoss doesn't have really that many ground units that move really fast, and on such a map that's as big as this, you don't want to rely entirely on warping in from a large distance, as that can, well, pretty much that would be going for really all-in type of play. But we will have a fast +2 attack and a actually somewhat fast third base. Getting up, trying to just take this forward position. And I like taking the forward position because if he can set up a wall at this area or just set up a nice defense, and he's actually going to be walling off from the bottom area, it would make taking this base easier. But he wants to expand towards his opponent due to the large size of the map. Now we have Overlord drop coming in as well, so things could get interesting. Overlord speed is done. He could be going for really fast Roach aggression, and I actually really like this play. Finale hasn't gone for any of the towers, won't see any Overlords moving around the field. And for the most part, Finale's just kind of been pushing this. He's got the +2 attack going, as I said. Blink is almost done, and we do see Stalker warp-ins beginning, as well as a couple of additional mortals. Now, there's also a decent amount of sentries, so this is kind of like not your standard 2-base Immortal all-in. He's moved up to 3 bases. The sentries are there for defense for the most part, and as well as the Immortals, and wants to be aggressive with the Stalkers while using the Sentries and Immortals to defend at home. He could push with these, but it leaves him incredibly vulnerable to counterattacks. And as I say that, we do have a large force of Zerglings and Roaches moving up. I find it funny to see that the Roaches have speed and the Zerglings don't. Going to pick off the Stalkers, so he knows that there are units here, and it's going to come down to tight force fields to keep these Roaches away, but I don't think we really don't have that many Overlords in this area of the map. The Observer should be able to see, or he should be able to tell that the Overseer has extra speed. So without really any Overlords there, he can't do much drop play. There is an Overlord running over to this base third. He will scout it, but there's nothing in it. So he's not going to be able to drop any Zerglings or any Banelings or anything really crazy. I mean, of course, that would require a Baneling nest as well. So just really heavy Zergling Roach pressure and Zergling speed, about 20 seconds away from completing. And for Finale, we don't really see much other than he's continuing to get that +2. He's going to move into Colossus now, it seems, getting that robotics bay. But this engagement could be pretty big. Its force fields are going to be very important. There is no burrow. There's no burrow move. He's going to pick off maybe a Roach, just about 1 or 2 Roaches for 3 force fields. It seems all right. So now the 4th base is complete. It's starting to saturate it for Hyun, and MVP Finale should be able to scout this pretty quickly. Now he's going to load up these Overlords, but pops a couple of force fields, and he's actually in no position. Tries to blink, but he cannot get in here, and the Roaches are going to drop into Finale's main. Starts to pick off some of the Stalkers, goes for the cannon, is actually going to immediately target fire down this robotics bay. An excellent play. Some units moving up to delay the units at the top of the ramp. Many probes going down and actually going to start killing buildings, and these Overlords are pooping creep.
in Finale's base. In the meantime, we have a large push coming towards the third base. Roaches and Zerglings running up here. I don't think any of these probes are going to get away. He's warping in a large number of Zealots, but needs the warp-ins. I mean, he needs them back home as well. And one of the worst things about this, any building's lost. He's not going to be able to rebuild. If he gets this Nexus, he has to wait for the creep to dissipate. He will not be able to immediately rebuild his main. The third base is taking a lot of damage and should fall before before these rest of these units can get over there. And looking at the workers kill tab, we have 28 dead probes killed by Hyun, and I think this is an absolutely excellent play with a fast Overlord drop. There's so much airspace on this map, and he took the base that was a little bit further out, and forcing the engagement in this area drew so many units forward that when he went for the drop, it was just incredibly devastating, getting a nice surround on Finale's units. Now a couple of good force fields. He should be able to clean this up, but he's in a very difficult position now. He's only operating off of one Nexus, which is now incredibly oversaturated. Going to be pumping out another Immortal, and he also doesn't have the tech that he needs to deal with really large numbers of Roaches. He has +2 attack and he has Blink, but on 4 bases, Hyun has the capability of just producing a ton of Roaches, and that's exactly what he's going to do. 20 Roaches on the way, complementing his already 20 Roaches. And this is honestly just going to get ugly really quickly for Finale. He doesn't have many options other than to just go for the big push, being down the 2 Nexuses, being down on all of those probes that he'd lost earlier. Now, Hyun doesn't really have the optimal amount of drones, but he doesn't need them. He has enough Roaches, so many force fields spent, so many dead sentries, that Finale isn't really going to be able to just push and end this game right here. He's going to try to open another couple of Stalkers, and this is really just going to be one all-in push. He has no money. He's down 60 supply, and I feel like this is just going to be it for Finale. He's going to try to make this push at the center of the map, mustering up everything that he can, and he won't have enough force fields to parse this army. He has a lot of Immortals, but he's going to blink the units slowly back and just slowly be overwhelmed. Unfortunately, just took so much damage earlier on, not able to reinforce the units the way that he needs to, and actually being very cost-effective against these Roaches, keeping the Immortals alive and good blinks, but Hyun's immediately going to make another 30 Roaches, another 30 Zergling, and his follow-up wave of production should be able to knock Finale out. Zerglings starting to get the surround. The Roaches are going to target fire down the Immortals, so the Immortals will go down. And I feel like this is just going to be game for Finale. There's no way to recover from this. He's still only on 1 Nexus. As cost effective as the first push was, he's on 1 base to 3, and that's going to be GG from Finale. So I really like the play of going for the forward early third and trying to play it safe with the blink stalkers to harass and keeping the Immortals and sentries at home. But as I stated, these crevices are actually not only just good for blink harass if Finale tried to go across here, but it was also very good with Hyun pulling the whole army here. And then for his overlords, it was as simple as just going straight up here. But the rest of the Immortals and sentries had to run all the way around the wall to try to defend. And just really great job of stretching the multitasking ability of Finale. Um, yeah, so thank you guys for watching this game. This is for the top 8 of the IPL Caster Search Contest. If you like my casting, my style, or if you like me, please hit that like button on this YouTube video, and hopefully I'll be able to bring you guys some more content in the future. Thanks.